Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I am. You can see in the waiting room. Guest. People are joining as a guest. Okay. And the guest.
Is the audio clear?
Yes. Clear.
आपकी आवाज थोड़ी धीमी आ रही है.
Okay. It's clear now.
Now still it is quite less.
1 second. Please start my phone. So, is it audible now?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Charming Phonesco guest. One is Galaxy N7 J7 next guest. Nobody is. I'm not sure. Charming Fonseca. 1 second. Let me check. Who's this Galaxy J7 next? Okay. So Aditya is there. Getting mobile names as a guest. Getting Redmi Galaxy J7. I don't know who is there. 1 second. Just how's Mumbai now? Complete lockdown
हाँ.
till 30th.
Third,
Okay.
3rd of May.
3rd of May, yes.
Hmm.
That is a crucial date.
It's 11 hours.
Okay, it's 11 o'clock. Shall we start?
Yeah.
People keep joining in. I've already actually messaged people who are joining by mobile name. They're joining as guests, but not writing their names. Let me see this. Shall I accept them?
हाँ मतलब अभी this person is given the name ना.
This is given the name, but there are two more people with mobile names.
हाँ ले लो. Let's see.
Okay. I think people will keep coming in. Who has shown registration, who has given their registration. So we shall start now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we start?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, welcome everybody on Plan Special Needs webinar. So today's webinar is the first of the series that we are coming out with in the month of April. And looking at the situation, we are focusing on a very important topic called emergency funding or emergency planning. Today, like last few weeks rather, we are going through a kind of situation where there are a lot of uncertainties that we are facing. Now, after this medical emergencies or medical uncertainties are over, there is going to be, and while we are in it, there is going to be economic or money related uncertainties which will also be coming in. And our webinar today is mainly focusing on to how do we actually get ready for this, and that's where we are going to focus. So I'm Shilpa Wagh from Mumbai. I'm associate with Plan Special Needs, and we have also with us Mr. Jitendra Solanki. Hi, Jitendra.
Hello, Shilpa.
So he is joining us from Ghaziabad, and let's all talk about what exactly we can do in the given situation and how we can handle this tricky situation. So today, actually, we are going to talk about, it's going to be a question and answer, and we'll just contribute from our own experiences. So to begin with, maybe Jitendra, you can just narrate what are your thoughts about how special need children families can plan about the emergency situation and what peculiar things they have to think rather from the regular families.
Yes. As we all know that we are in the middle of a crisis, and it's a very difficult situation, and especially families who got a special need child. It's more difficult, engaging the child at home, wherein he has been going to an institution. So it's a challenge which all families are facing. But let's also accept that while this crisis are going on, while hearing more and more news, so many thoughts are coming onto our mind. Like if we hear news from Italy, Spain, or any other country, there are a lot of thoughts which are going in our mind. What's going to happen, to us, to our country. And because of that, planning for emergency like these, it becomes 1 second.
We request all the viewers to just get into the mute and shut your videos,
Yes.
cameras.
Yeah. So when we are, within middle of the crisis, a lot of thoughts are going on, and when you have a special need child, then there are a lot of issues which you need to, cater to. Plus, there are a lot of, as I said, thoughts going on. What happens, if something happens to us, then what happens to the child, and who will take care? Now, first of all, this is an educational webinar. This is not a webinar where we are going to speak something scary. But this is an educational webinar where we'll helping families to understand that when you are in this crisis, then what all things you can do sitting at home, at your laptop, what all you can do so that you are, well planned for your child future. And this is what is the whole discussion about our webinar today. So we are going to discuss four things most importantly which families can sitting at home can do. And these four things will help families to prepare for the special need child future. So we're going to take one by one, and I'm going to discuss one by one what are these four things which families have to address. Uh, so the first thing,
Yeah.
because in the middle of an emergency, so the first thing which is there is an emergency fund. Right now, we all, even in our normal course of life, we have been advising that always have an emergency fund, because the emergency fund helps you in dealing with emergencies
I
like.
think Jitendra, there is some sound coming in from your side.
Okay, like.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was talking about emergency fund. Now, emergency fund is made for these kind of emergencies where emergency has come up and you need money to survive during the emergency. You need money to continue with your expenditure during this emergency, like we are sitting in today. So when we have an emergency fund, uh, now with a special need child, one is your household expenses are there, they would always be there. But with a special need child, there would be other expenses which are going to be there. Like so if in the normal course your child would have been going to an institution. Now the shift has been made that all these courses are happening online, but the still money has to be paid. So you have an additional expenses which are going on, and because of these additional expenses, your expenses are a bit higher. And that's where keeping an emergency fund is always an advisable approach when we look at that how we're going to deal with emergencies like today. We are sitting in the middle of an emergency today, and most of the families who have maintained an emergency fund would have been sailing through much more easily, right? uh,
Yeah. So actually, that's what I was also having the same kind of thought process. Like emergency fund is the first step for anybody to safeguard themselves in such situations. And the basis for emergency funding is your day-to-day expenses, which cannot be ruled out, irrespective of whether you are earning or you are not earning. So your household expenses or expenses related to your children, whether you're a special need child or otherwise also, then your insurances, premiums, etc., your EMIs. These are some of the basis on which the entire emergency fund is normally based upon. So, since like Jitendra said, we are all at home and we have enough time. So, if you have already done emergency funding, I'm sure today is the time you must be thanking yourself that you have done the job earlier and you are in a very comfortable situation. But unfortunately, if you have not yet done it, but I think now is the time when you can actually look into it. Write down on just a plain Excel sheet or a piece of paper what are your expenses and how you are going to tackle it. What are the additional expenses you have to incur because now the child is at home. Any maid or anything you have, because outside maids can't come inside, right? So we are not, most of the societies are not allowing that. So probably you have arranged for a 24 hours kind of a help for your child. Now that is added expense, right? So all these things, please write them down and prepare a chart where how much monthly expense you think you are incurring. And then let's talk to Jitendra to find out, unfortunately, if I don't have the emergency fund in place, then from my investments or my portfolio, which are all those kind of investments which I can think about where I can use them for emergency fund, and for how many months normally we should be ready with this emergency fund.
Yeah, so when we are talking in emergency fund, so families would be in a situation where the emergency fund is not there, and we were not knowing that how much time would this crisis would take. So I might have to deal with 2 months or 3 months expenses. Now, what you do if you don't have an emergency fund? Now, if you don't have an emergency fund, then probably you won't have much of an idea Uh, 1 second. Now, when you don't have an emergency fund, then you have to dive into your savings to deal with emergency because you need money. You need money for maintaining these expenses, for incurring these expenses, which is going to be there. Now, when you have to dive into your savings, then the first thing is that what type of savings or what type of investment, what type of deposit you should utilize for this emergency fund. Now, in most of the cases, uh, we have seen that now what can be done during this emergency. So, suppose you have been making an investment, your SIPs are going on, your monthly EMIs are going on. Now, if you do not have an emergency fund, probably you can utilize the benefit which government is giving you. Say on your loans, you can take that moratorium period. Right? I
Okay.
do agree you will have to pay that additional interest, but then you don't have a choice. You need that money for survival for during this crisis. So take the benefit of that moratorium period till time the bank is giving you. So for 2 months, for 3 months, probably you won't be paying that EMI, and you can utilize that money for your expenses. The second benefit you can do is, or the second action you can do is that if you have been SIPs going on, you can probably pause those SIPs for 2 3 months, right?
Okay.
It's see understand one aspect. Okay, it's not anything because the moment you talk about stopping your SIP, the mind goes towards the markets. The market are so low. Oh, I'll miss this opportunity. But you need to sail through crisis first. Then only you can continue your investment. So by stopping these SIPs for few months, you're just stopping your SIP for few months. You are not stopping them for forever. You can stop your SIPs, and by taking all these action, whatever money you are saving, that you can take it as an emergency fund, and you can utilize that money for meeting your expenses. Last thing, if situation arises that you have to withdraw your money from your investment, then I would advise that first consider your debt investment. Don't withdraw from your equity investment. Look at your debt investment, look at your debt portfolio, and see where you can withdraw your money. So these
So
these are the action plan you have to take when you don't have an emergency fund. And there's been certain benefits, government is giving. There's certain benefits which you can take if your monthly investment are going on. Insurance premiums, you are getting more grace period, so probably you can utilize that grace period and delay it a bit later. So that way you can have that emergency fund, you can have that money for your expenses.
So yeah, so this is how some of the tips I think Jitendra has told all of us. Like we can dwell into our debt investment, debt in the sense which are not related to stock market or equity side, right? Like fixed deposits are there, or any other. You have short-term investments like liquid funds, which are there on the mutual fund side, which you can try and see whether you can utilize them for the time being. But as a planner, in the long run, this is a good time to dwell into your expenses, have a proper list of it, so in future once you are out of this crisis, you can be much more thorough and analyze what is required for you, and then prepare the emergency fund so that you don't get into the situation you are currently. Now, this is one action point that we are talking about. Now, one of the most important second action point, which we normally talk about special need children families, is something called letter of intent, because this is a crisis period, this is an emergency period, and we are all scared. People are scared about what happens if something happens to me today. So in such situation, the only respite is the letter of intent. So let's talk a little bit more about letter of intent, Jitin.
Yes, now you have a special need child, and you want to keep some document ready for the next caregiver who would be taking care of your child if these kind of situations arises. And so not even next caregiver, but even within your family members. So letter of intent, we have been always advising that is one important document which helps your next caregivers or professionals or persons who are going to take care of your child and who will be involved in your child care after you. Now, what is a letter of intent? So basically, when the next caregiver is taking care of your child, and he's taking that responsibility, right? He do not know anything about daily life. He might not be knowing about the child like dislike. He might not be knowing about your vision for the child. How do you want it, the child care to happen? He or she would not be knowing that what happens if certain emergencies arises. He won't be having any contact of professionals, and he won't be having any contact of any other members, because we are talking about an emergency like coronavirus, where if you have not done this, if you have not communicated this, and situations happens, then what happens? How does the caregiver would know? Okay, so all about your child life, as I said, daily life, his habits, his like dislike, professionals, who are the contact people, what for medical, any medical history. Now with that medical history, what are the emergency situations, whom to contact if those things arises, whom to contact for any other issues if it happens. So all these questions are there for the caregiver. All this is information for the caregiver to know that he can take the responsibility of the child, right, in emergencies like these. And so writing a letter of intent, I would say, is the first document any family will do now. And writing a letter of intent, you don't need a professional, you don't need a legal advisor. It's a document you can write sitting at home right today. You start writing today, in the next 4 days, 5 days, you can complete your letter of intent, have the document ready, which you can just hand over to caregiver and let him know, this is what I wanted. This is all about my child life. So something happens, then you have a document ready which you can refer to and understand about my child. So letter of intent is the basic document any family with a special needs child should be writing. And as during these emergencies, when you have time, I think writing a letter of intent becomes a necessity today. And as I said, you don't need a professional, you don't need any tools, you don't need any software, you don't need you don't have to register it. It just on a plane of paper, if you write it down, your letter of intent, that becomes a guiding book for the next caregiver. You can write it today, you can hand it over to the caregiver, and you have that peace of mind that your caregiver now knows about your child life.
Yeah, so now let's think about this letter of intent as a very comprehensive, complete document which describes emotional needs, medical needs, everything that your child will require. And it's like a handover document to the next caregiver who will be taking care of the child in your absence. So you have to start preparing for it. Very importantly, if you have already identified the caregiver, it is always good that that caregiver is knowing about it, that he is the one who will be taking care of the child, unfortunately, if you are not there around. Okay, so these two important things: prepare the letter of intent, and please inform the next caregiver that I have your name in my mind and I have prepared this particular letter of intent. Explain to him so that in case of emergency he knows how to handle the child. So step number 1, we spoke about emergency fund creation. Step number 2, we spoke about letter of intent.
Yes, and also one important aspect, why we are talking all these, why we are talking what happens after us. This is simply because during a coronavirus emergency, a lot of thoughts are going on, about the mortality, right? What's going to happen to us? Suddenly, if the cases in India rises, then will we reach to that situation? Like we are reading news daily, and Italy, Spain, America, all the news are coming in. So a lot of thoughts going into your mind, and when these thoughts come, then you actually think about, oh, this is what I would have done, into this situation, so that my child future would have been secured. And that's what we are speaking about. And we are giving you tools which where you do not need to phone today anybody, you do not need to contact anybody. You just have to sit down and write a letter of intent at your home and just complete it and hand it over to the next caregiver.
Yeah, but if somebody wants to write letter of intent, uh, how do they go about, what is the format, and how they will know how to write it? What should actually, is there any format or is there anything available which can help them understand how to write letter of intent in an effective way?
Yeah, so plan special needs. We have been, advising families on writing a letter of intent. So now we are going to start an e-course on letter of intent from 1st May 2020, and that e-course is basically a video series, right? So anybody who's subscribing to that e-course will get tips on videos, will get step by step, question by question explanation on what to write in a letter of intent, and they will have a template on which they can complete that letter of intent in just less than 10 days, right?
Okay,
So
so
in the chat section I'll probably okay, just let me send the link.
yeah,
One
so
second.
those who are interested can just follow this link and enroll yourself for the e-course for letter of intent, because this is a very important document. So we will explain to you step by step in each. There are many questions which we have laid down so that comprehensively the information is captured in the document. So those who are interested, I think Jitendra has already given you the link. Please give your details and enroll and take the benefit out of it.
Yeah, so I have put the link in the on the chat section. So now this is a complete e-course. This is a complete e-course where you can complete your letter of intent. And within this e-course, as I said, we are guiding step by step, question by question. We'll explain you what to write in that question, so that at the end of the day, at the end of the e-course, when you write it, the letter of intent, you will have that document completed. And as I said, it just takes even less than 10 days to complete that letter of intent. So today, when in the middle of a crisis, we are talking about, I think a letter of intent is the first document you should be, completing.
So after this action point, let's come to the next action point. Like, we have so many assets created. For example, our bank accounts, okay, or we have our life insurance or any other kind of uh, investments. Many a times it happens that we don't pay much attention to how the holding pattern is, who is the nominee. We don't think, like, in case, let us take an example that if your savings account is in the single holding, that is, it's your own name. In case you're not there, what will happen to that particular bank account? Have you ever thought of that? So let's now discuss little bit about what is the importance of having correct nominations, or holding the, or changing the pattern from single holding to the either or survivor with a joint holder. So let's discuss little bit more about it, Jitendra, so that we can take proper actions for that as well.
Yeah, so we are talking about nominations, as we call it, beneficiary designation, and there are different type of asset with some different set of rules also. Now, first of all, let's understand that if you are not given any nomination, then you are going through a legal process, a lengthy legal process, right? You will have to take a probate, you will have to get a succession certificate to claim the assets. The other part of this process is that uh, the distribution of your asset won't be as per your wish. The special child, you won't be leaving more money for the special need child, because his care requires a bigger amount of corpus, and everybody gets an equal share. Each of the legal heirs can get equal share. There can be disputes in the family because you have not written down anything. So all these issues comes up. So when you are looking at your bank account, you're looking at your investments account, you're looking at properties, beneficiary designation is highly important, that you have given the correct beneficiary. You know where the money is going in. And and also, when you have a special need child, you do not want more money to be given to special need child, because he won't be able to take any decisions. Now, if you are leaving money to somebody else, he is to be communicated that this is the money which is there, which is going to be for the special need child care. You will have to manage it. So beneficiary designation is important, and as I said, there are different kind of assets where one a nomination is there and one a beneficial nominee is also there. So you have assets like employee provident fund. Now
Hmm.
in the EPF, you have a separate act altogether. and whomsoever family member you appoint a nominee, he becomes a final recipient of that money, right? Similarly, the life insurance came out a concept of beneficial nominee I think 2 3 years back. Now, if you have appointed a family member as a beneficial nominee, then he or she would receive that money and no other legal hire can claim that money. So these are the assets where beneficial nominees are there. Then there are banks account, mutual funds where only nominee is there. Now, who is the nominee? Is he your spouse? Have you made your child as a nominee in most of these assets? So you need to recheck. You need to recheck and see that the more money is going to the child. Is everything going in the name of the child? If not, then if you have created a trust before, then is the money going to the trust? So I don't think you have an in India probably we have that flexibility where you can change nominations online completely today. So if you have, by mistake you have put your child in nominee in all the financial assets, then you will have to change it. If it can be done online, I think that's the best thing you can do during this emergency crisis we are talking about. But if you don't, then what is the step you can take? I think then will comes in the important here, that if you
Yeah,
have made
so
the child as a nominee, right, and everything is going into his account, then you need to ensure that the will has the right kind of distribution.
yeah, so nominations, as we have seen, just narrating some case which I just remembered when we were talking about it. What happens is when we start our career, we all start taking life insurances, but by
Yeah.
then we are not married. Okay, so what happens is normally people keep their mother or father as their nominee, like who is the beneficiary. If something happens to me, my claim money will go to that particular beneficiary. Now, as the life progresses, you get married, you're having wife, your children are there, but that particular life insurance policy is there, the premium you are paying. But if suppose you have forgotten to change the nomination, now that is how the flaw happens. Okay, so now actually speaking, you want that money also to come to your family so that your family's financial obligations are taken care of. Now that you are at home, please do this homework. Okay, you can take out all these policies that you have taken, find out who are the beneficiaries. If they are allowing you to change it online, well and good. If they are not, at least make a proper list that these are some of my investment instruments, these are my insurance instruments which I have to take care of. Many a times demat accounts, you have demat accounts, but probably the nominations are not given. So these are some of the things which you can do in this emergency period, so that you can at least be prepared. And if they are not allowing you to change, then the only instrument which can help you is your estate planning, which is some other topic. Now we are going to come to that as a next action item. But before that, let us talk, since we are on the life insurance case study,
Yeah.
let's talk about life insurance and how it is important in this current crisis. And if you have adequate life insurance, how do I know whether I have adequate life insurance? So how do I handle this situation?
Yeah, so life insurance is a very, very important tool for special needs children families because it provides money instantly to the trust or to your family if you are not there tomorrow. You know, we all are salaried individual. Most of us are salaried individual. We have limited money coming in, so we go on monthly savings and we to accumulate assets in the future. But that is we are going to accumulate asset in the future. What happens, if something happens today? Then where that money is going to come from? So life insurance is the only tool which can provide an instant funding to the family for finances which would be required where the special need child care has to be taken. So again, identifying an adequate coverage, you need to do a proper analysis. You need to analyze your lifetime cost for your child, and you need to analyze your loans, liabilities, expenses. Then only you will come to know that what is the adequate funding required. Now, the amount of funding, the amount of life insurance coverage which you will require probably would be in a limit where you might have to go for a medical test, right? But you are in a sitting in the middle of a crisis. I'm talking about a situation if you do not have a life insurance, then how do you deal with the crisis? Then probably whatever amount of life insurance you can get today, without any medical test,
Medicals.
I think you should go and first buy that life insurance. It can be 10 lakh, it can be 20 lakh. Some insurance companies might be running benefits that buy a life insurance without a medical test, even a little bit higher coverage. So if that benefit you are getting during this crisis, just go and buy whatever amount of life insurance is available today. So what happens is that if situations arises, if any eventuality happens, at least some amount of instant funding would come to the family. You won't be without a coverage into these situations when we are thinking so much about mortality. So
Yeah.
whatever life insurance you can get today, you can buy it completely online. You do not need to, even go and buy offline. It's available. Online term insurance are available. So just go apply and buy an term insurance online to that coverage where no medical test is required. At least you will be ready with some amount of life insurance coverage, with some amount of security for your special needs child.
Yeah, so life insurance is something you can definitely now think about. There are many online sites, we know that they are available where you can get the comparison. So whatever is available to you currently without doing the medicals, etc., please take it. And it's a very important step we are talking about. So we have spoken about, let's take a stock of what all we have spoken about till now. We started with emergency funding.
Yes.
So that is the first step we spoke about. Then we spoke about letter of intent,
Yes.
which is a very comprehensive kind of a thing, which again you can do sitting at home. You don't need anybody's help. If you want to know more about how to write a proper letter of intent, we have shared the link on Plan Special Needs, where you can enroll for the e-course and you will be able to write it yourself in the confines of your own home, right? Then the third very important, beneficiary designations, where we are talking about after you, the money should be handed over in a proper way to the person you want that money to go to, right? So beneficiary designations is what we spoke about. And fourth one, the last item we spoke about was life insurance,
Yes.
right? Now we have something else for our viewers, right? Two more bonus tips that we would like to give. And just now, when we were talking about beneficiary designations, Jitendra mentioned about it. If it is not yet been done, and they are not allowing you to do it online, then there is another estate planning instrument he spoke about, and that is will. So
Yeah.
let's spend some time, Jitendra, about estate planning, which can be done currently, what all they can do, and what are the, first of all, what are the aspects of estate planning which a special needs children family should look into, and of that how they can do it in this emergency sitting at home, or how they can get ready for those things which they cannot complete sitting at home.
Yeah, so estate planning is a very important aspect for special needs children families. And when we talk about what are the estate planning tools available, then you have will, you have a private trust, you have a durable power attorney which you need to prepare. You have then letter of guardianship and the letter of intent. So these are estate planning tools which a family would need to ensure, to create that legal framework which can continue managing the child affairs. Now, some of these tools require a registration process, require a help of a legal professional. So you can only do it once the crisis, you sail through this crisis, because you need to go and register it. But there are certain documents which you can, there is no registration required. It's not mandatory, and you can write it today without any help also. And that is, we have spoken about letter of intent, and the second and most important is will. Why will is important? Because we are talking about a crisis, we are talking about a situation. Now will ensures that what you wish for your child, how you wanted your assets to be distributed, how you wanted your money to be utilized, that is basically you lay down in the will. And once after you, when the will gets executed, then all your assets are distributed as per your wish. So will writing is very, very important. Now, if you don't have a will, then as I mentioned before, you have a lengthy legal process coming in. You might have to go for a succession certificate. uh, then there are bank assets, there are mutual funds, there are other investments. So if you do not have a will, then you will hire a lawyer. You might have to pay a higher cost, and some states would have different situations. So your family would go into a lengthy legal process which you do not want. And the most important is the asset distribution won't be as what you wanted,
Yes.
right? The intestate law says that if there is no will, then simply distribute among all legal heirs equally. Now that's what you do not want, because you want some money to go to trust, or you want some of the higher amount should be there for special need child, the provision of next guardian. So all these you can write it down in a will. And will doesn't require registration, it's not mandatory. Even in a will written in a plain paper is also accepted. So, and even will written with your handwriting is also accepted,
Yes.
right? So what you can do during this crisis is that if you haven't written a will, you have checked your beneficiary designation, there is something you want to change, this is not the way you want, everything is going to a nominee, but from nominee, who will get what asset, who will decide? So will writing decides that if the money has gone to a nominee, who is the final legal recipient of that money. And that's where will writing, during this crisis, you can go and complete your will. And today, if you look at most of the, even if you want to hire a professional, most of the services are available online. We have been doing it for family, completely online. We have been drafting the will, sending them, they are just completing it, and they have the will ready. So will is a document which a family can write, during these times, and be prepared and have that document prepared, which will lay down how you wanted your assets to be distributed, and how you wanted what money should be utilized for your special needs child care. Because
Correct.
because caregiver you have chosen, but caregiver need finances. Where would that finances come from? If you have bought a life insurance, right? But who will, you might be appointing a beneficial nominee in that, so the life insurance can go directly to the beneficial nominee. But there are other assets. Life insurance might not be adequate because you are buying during a crisis. Without medical test, you might not get a higher coverage. But if you have other assets, you need to ensure that those assets should be utilized for your special needs child care. So the caregiver need money. If he or she don't have money, how would you take care of the child financially? And that's where will is going to be important. That's where the will lay down that this is how what you wanted, how the assets should have been distributed.
Yeah, so actually, friends, what we are talking about here is will. Is in other words, we call it Ichha Patra. Ichha Patra is like what is your wish and how you want your money, your estate to be allotted to different beneficiaries in your life, maybe your family, your children, your special child, or whatever you have in your mind. But it has to go as per your own wish. So it is the most important document which you have to create. All the more because you want some third person in your absence to take care of your special child, and your special child will be taken care of properly only if a proper money is already being assigned to that activity. And that's the reason with will you actually lay out your wish, like how and how much and in what way, because there are many ways of allotting that money to your special child. If the child is that way capable of handling the money himself or herself, the approach will be different. Unfortunately, if the disability percentage is higher and that person will not be able to handle finances himself, you may have to take some other routes of trust or etc., which we may talk later on in some other webinar in detail. But that also needs money. So the trust needs a corpus based on which the trustee will take care of your child, or the money will be given to the caregiver and the caregiver will take care of your child. So this can be another homework. So we are giving you a lot of homework to be done. First was finding out your expenses and get ready for the emergency funding. Second was letter of intent. Third was make a list of all the investments that you have, find out who are the nominees and what is the holding pattern. And if there are any gaps, you have to find out how to fix them. And also now life insurance we spoke about. And now the last one, what we spoke about was preparation of the will, so that all your estate will be handed over to the next generation or the related people the way you want it to happen. Okay, so now that we are talking about all these aspects, many of the aspects you can do on your own, but some of the aspects which having legal implications, as I mentioned about the trust, etc., which probably we may not handle on our own. Similarly, emergency fund planning is something okay, but with your special need child, you may have other children, you may have your other family goals, and you have to be ready and see to it that how your money is being utilized to fulfill all your financial obligations. So you need financial plan also in place. So all these plans need some professional guidance. So let's talk a little bit about what kind of professional guidance may be required at different point of time, and how you can utilize current time to find appropriate professionals to help you out. So Jitendra, can you just elaborate a little bit about the entire team which may be necessary for the family so that things are taken care of?
Yes, certainly. These are the times where most of us, even we have gone online. There, most of professionals, they are providing online services. They are providing services on phone. Now, a special needs child family, though if I list down the team they require to complete their planning, it's going to be a long list. You need doctors, you need medical professionals, you need schools. Then you need a chartered accountant for finances. Then you need an estate planner, you need a financial planner, you need a legal professional. But let's understand, that we are talking about a crisis time. We are talking about those documents which you can prepare.
Yes.
Even private trust, if any family wants to, come forward and at least, be ready with the draft towards the end of the crisis, probably that also can be done during, these crises. So I think the first most important, uh, when you are identifying any professional, is finding an estate planner for you,
Okay.
or probably a legal professional. But you need a professional who has an expertise in drafting these documents, who understands special needs child requirement, because you are looking for a professional who can foresee the issues maybe 10 years or 20 years down the line. And that issues, if any professional who have an experience in handling the issues, who have an experience in understanding the special needs child requirement, can only foresee that what issues may come up if these kind of documents are drafted, right? So you need a professional who have an expertise in this. Even if you're looking for a financial planner, then you need a planner who have an expertise in planning for your special needs child. When I talk about expertise, it means that they understand your special child life stages. That's have been a basis, and that's what we have been talking to families, that even if you are hiring some other professional, you need to ensure that he understand about your special child requirement. And how you do it, how you go about in understanding that, is only by asking questions. So you need to ask questions to professionals whom you have contacted, that how they would understand. One second. So you need to ask right questions to the professionals, and you need to get the right answers which will help you understand that, okay, these professionals understand about a special child requirement, they understand about the issues which may come up, and so these would be the right professionals. So by asking right questions, by getting the right answers, then only you can probably hire the right kind of professional. And this may be a time where you can search for a right professional. Just pick up a phone, call a legal professional, call an estate planner, schedule a meeting, have a discussion. And if he is the right professional, then just go and go along with completing those documents, which you can do at least during this period. See, the documents registration is a different aspect, but though we have spoken about will, but if you can hire a professional during these times, then you can also complete your private trust deed drafting, you can complete your letter of guardianship, You can complete your durable power attorney, and you can complete any other legal document which you are looking at. So during this period, you can have the document ready. Once the the crisis is over and everything returns to normalcy, you can go and just register these documents. But you need to hire the right kind of professionals. And now, we as a plan special needs have been one stop shop for the families, where we have the team ready, and any family you contact us, we are ensuring that whatever we are talking about today, we can assist them in preparing all these documents.
Yes, and I think one of the important challenges which are faced by many families is after preparing the trust, who can be the trustees. Okay, so probably they can also start identifying who can be the trustees if at all they want to generate such trust in future.
Yes, they need to identify, though they would be the initial trustees, but they need to identify future trustees. But at least if they can start and have a discussion with a professional, they
Yes.
can understand the structure, they can understand who should be identified, they can understand pros and cons of what they have been thinking about, right? So probably they will get a good idea in understanding it, that these are the things I need to do if I have to complete these legal documents, I have to put this legal framework in place. So this can be a time where you can actually take the benefit of hiring a professional. You don't know why we are saying that this may be a good time, because you don't need to go to their office. Professionals are giving services on phone. They're giving services on email. You just need to hire them and go into a discussion, and you can have your work done from the professional. So because all these services are available online today during this crisis, especially, so you can, it might be a very good time to hire professionals which you have been thinking for, or which you want to complete a framework for your special needs child care. So I think family should take this benefit and search good professionals in your city, if you are, or outside your city, because we are talking about online services. So professionals anywhere who have an expertise in handling special need child care, then probably he or she would be able to advise you right. So I think the first professional, probably at this stage of life, financial planning does take a process. So I'm not saying you can complete your financial planning during this crisis, but at least you can put those legal documents in place. At least you have the draft ready for these documents in place during this crisis, because they do not take much of time.
Correct. So, what we are talking about is let's be prepared for the future, and whatever is the homework we have to do, we can do it now. Start searching for the team. As mentioned, you might have already identified the doctors and therapists and other professionals. On the financial and legal side, start identifying people in your area, or on the Google, you can just start searching. As he mentioned, plan special needs can be, this kind of a resource is available where all these professionals are already associated with land special needs, so it can be a easy way to complete this activity for you. And probably now we can take question and answers. Jiten, I think there
Yeah,
is a
I've been seeing it. So there are some questions. Okay, from Dr. Ashok. Joint account nominee will always be a child. Yes, I do agree. Joint account, because if your husband and wife, they are in joint account, then you will always be left with an option of putting a child in nominee. But the benefit of joint account is different. The benefit is that if the primary account holder dies, then the second account holders become the primary account holder, and he can operate the joint account. So the question to going to nominee will only arise in a situation where both the account holders are not there. But till you have a joint account, so you have an ease of operation of handling accounts even after the death of the first primary account holder. So we do advise in certain cases that you should have some joint accounts, so that the second, the spouse can at least take the authority of handling the account, right? And can just operate the account. If the primary account holder dies, the second account holder can just operate the account. So withdrawing money, utilizing that money would be much of ease. You don't have to wait to go through that legal process of claiming the account.
Now, there is a very important aspect we have to all remember. Like when we talk about joint accounts, you see to it that it is the operating status should be either or survivor.
Yes.
There will be normally three options available, right? Single, joint, and either or survivor. Please see to it that you are choosing either or survivor, because if you select joint, both the signatories are required. Okay,
Yes.
so we don't want to get into that situation. We want either or survivor. Now, again, there can be some other aspect to it, whether I can trust the opposite person, etc. So when you are having joint accounts, you have to have that kind of thought process behind it. Like whoever is coming in joint holder with me, I can trust the person. So
Yeah.
even if it is either or survivor, that person will not misuse the money that I am keeping for a specific purpose. So all these aspects you have to think about and you have to take care of. Nominee, yes, child can be the nominee, but if child is minor, again the guardian comes in the picture. So you need to see what is the age of the child, who can be the guardian for the child. So this aspect, I think some of the aspects you may have to
So
think
that's
about.
why we are saying that not all accounts you have to do it. In some of the accounts you can have joint account. You might not need to appoint a nominee in a joint account today, because is the first holder and second holder. Nominee would need probably where you have only a single individual as a account holder. So probably nomination you won't need in a joint account as of today. It's only after the first account holder dies that second account holder would have to appoint somebody as a nominee, right?
Okay.
So but keep you should have both the options. You should keep some accounts in the joint name. Okay, LOI classes, can you start early lockdown period? Though we wanted to start in April, but we are still preparing uh, the series, but it won't take much of time. As I said, just a 10 days. So we'll ensure that within the next 10 days, from 1st of May, you would be able to write a letter of intent, and it's a video series. You will get video on email. We will be recording all our videos on the letter of intent, and you can view it anytime. It's not that we will be taking some online classes. We'll be recording whatever we are giving in that series, and we'll be emailing that, so that you can view them at any point of time, with date, night, weekend, day, whenever you have time. You can just view it and complete the letter of intent. We thought of starting in April, but somehow we still need to prepare the some of the video of the series. All mutual fund equity is big dip. We should continue with the same. Yes, as an investment advisor, we can advise that this is a period you need to sail through. These are the things which will come up. It has come today. There's some crisis would come later on. We have seen in 2018, investors who have stayed invested have benefited, and there is no benefit in booking your losses at this point, because you would then be booking your losses permanently, and probably you won't be able to recover it. But if you stay invested, you have an opportunity to recover from it. Is there any
I
special?
can just
Yeah,
add something to this.
yeah,
This question is everybody is asking. Most of the people are asking these questions, but the
yes,
answer can be given, or answer can be with you if you have done your investment based on the goals instead of based on the timing of the market.
yeah,
Okay, so if you have done your investments to fulfill specific type of goals, and which are say 7 8 years down the line or 10 years down the line, you actually don't have to worry about. And these are all notional losses that you are seeing. They are not, if you do some mistakes and if you try to redeem just because they are showing a dip, then you are making those notional losses to realized losses, that is the actual losses, which is not justified, which is not called for, because right now you don't need the money, and that money is actually for your long term goals. By then definitely market will get into few more cycles, probably, we don't know.
yeah.
So that time you will definitely get opportunity, and you will be happy that you stay invested when you will see the better returns when that time comes.
Yeah, so the basic principle of investment is that equity, that's an inherent structure of equity markets. If you can see upside, there is no upside to it, then or downside also you can have more downside. But that's how equity markets behave, and that's the characteristic of equity market. but you need to stay invested for the cycle if you are looking at creating wealth for you. There is no special mediclaim policy for corona disease. There is some companies have come up with some special policies also, but even IRDS came out a mandate when this crisis arises that all health policies have to cover hospitalization expenses for corona disease. So even in your existing health policies, they are also covering the expenses for this disease. And there's some companies who, I think Star Health or some other company also, they have come up some specific disease policy also at this point of crisis, and you can take it without any hassle and be covered and claim for it. The premium might be higher on that side, but I think even your general health policies are also covering it. As far as we have seen the IRDA giving a mandate to all health insurance companies, and they came out with information also that your existing health policy will also cover it.
Okay, so I think we are coming towards the end of our webinar now. So just to recap a little bit, we are talking about the emergency situation which has arisen because of the coronavirus, and we are all at home. Now in this situation, what all from the planning perspective, or what are the action points we can think about? So we have actually spoken about 6 very important action points. First is the creation of the emergency fund. Second is your letter of intent. Third is your beneficiary designations, that is nominations and joint holding, etc.
Yes.
Fourth is your life insurance. Fifth is getting ready for the estate planning by way of writing a will or identifying what should be your, how your structures of your trust should be, etc. And sixth, very important, you will need help of professionals in doing certain activities out of this. So go ahead and try and search, identify good ethical professionals who are specialized in your kind of a situation, special needs children families situation. And maybe Jitendra, you can talk about the e-course once again, and maybe the future webinars that we are going to offer during the lockdown periods.
Yes, so we are running this letter of intent course. Dr. Ashok has already subscribed to it. Now this e-course is going to be a video series where through videos we will help you step by step, help you understand all the questions you need to write, in a letter of intent, and and we will also give you a template uh, which will help you where you can just we'll have the headings prepared. Those headings would have already explained, those questions would have already explained in the series, and you need to just write the content within that. And once that content is ready, this template will help you to complete your letter of intent. After as I said, we have been giving that in 10 days you can just complete your letter of intent. After 10 days you will have this document ready, which you can just hand over to your caregivers, to your family members. And so this e-course is is of 10 days. We were giving a special pricing for this e-course if you register before 15th April. So this e-course cost you around 3,500. We were giving it around we've given it for 2,500, and we look at extending the benefit as more and more families come in. But I think this e-course every family should subscribe to, so that they can at least complete the letter of intent, have the document ready, which your future caregiver wants. He needs to understand more about your child. He needs to understand about your special needs child care. The other part, as you mentioned, Shilpa, is the webinar series. This was the first of the webinar series, and because it's a crisis going on, so we thought it would be the right, to at this moment to do this webinar. There are other webinars which we are doing, which one second. So there are 3 more webinars which are which are we have scheduled in by the uh, end of April. So one webinar would be on insurance planning, one would be on letter of intent, and there would be third webinar on estate planning tools. What all tools you require to complete your estate planning. So these 3 are the webinars, and then after these we will look at in the May as we come down to the close of the lockdown. So what webinars we schedule? But these three webinars we will do. All of the webinars which we are doing is going to cost you around rupees 100 per participant.
It's 12
We just
hours.
So with just rupees 100 as a webinar cost, so participant can attend these webinars and can benefit, can learn about, as we have been saying, we will talk about all the aspects in detail. So we'll talk about insurance planning in detail, we'll talk about letter of intent. So again, Dr. Ashok, this is also one webinar which you can attend and you can understand what all to write in letter of intent, apart from what are the course you have subscribed to. So these are scheduled. The scheduled date I'll be sending it. I'll be announcing it. But these are all within the month of April.
So they are in the month of April, so that you all, in the lockdown, you can take the benefit of attending these webinars. So thank you so much for all the participants for making it a success.
Thanks,
So see you
Shilpa.
in.
This was, I think, we have done a great job in at least, helping families understand. Dr. Ashok has been participating in all the webinars and all the events we have been doing. So this was the first of the series. We are hopeful that we'll be able to do more and more, and the recording of this webinar would be available to the participant. So we'll be sending these webinars to participants who have attended this or who have registered for the webinar. So thank you, and
Thank you.
let's see you in the next webinar, and we'll inform within maybe by tomorrow or day after. We'll inform
Yeah.
for the next schedule of the webinar. Okay.